Lithium price is on a record high and Alpha Lithium is a top choice. Brad, lithium is hot and it looks to me like Alpha Lithium, your company, is even hotter. So a very interesting company. Thanks for taking the time today. Maybe you can give us a short overview on the company. Where are you working? We see this beautiful triangle here. What is it?
Well, that's the world famous Lithium Triangle. That's where we have all of our assets. We have two primary assets. But overriding that, we have essentially 40 million in the bank. We trade at least 500,000 shares a day. That's down from where it used to trade prior to the global market meltdown, we'll say, if we want to call it that. But we used to trade about 1 million shares a day, still very, very liquid at 500,000 and nowhere to go but up. The two assets that we have, the first is our flagship asset. It's where we started the company. It's called Tolijar. Tolijar is very close to infrastructure. We owned it for 2 years now. We were the first into the asset. We owned 100% of the salar. It's very important. There are no other competitors in this salar. It's just us, 100% for the 28,000 hectares. We have drilled over the last 2 years, 15 wells. We have shot all kinds of seismic. So we've started and I would say are nearing the end of the exploration phase of Tolijar. We have a very good idea of what we have today. In terms of resource, we have just published our maiden, I still call it early or preliminary resource estimate, where we were given a total of 3.3 million tons. That's indicated and inferred, and it's fantastic. It's a big resource. We're in a big position, very strong position. We've also, very importantly, we've discovered fresh water right next to the salar. And your viewers need to understand how important fresh water is. It's in and of itself, it's a very valuable resource. It's essential for production. If we don't have, if not just us, if anybody does not have fresh water, they're going to have a production problem. So we're very fortunate to be one of the few, if maybe the only company that has a massive freshwater resource right next to where we need to produce.
Fantastic, yeah, because it's a very dry country, right?
Exactly. So there aren't a lot of rivers, gets very little rainfall, very little snowfall. It's at 4,400 meters above sea level. So lots of evaporation, not a lot of precipitation. We also have, I'll touch on Ombre Muerto. Ombre Muerto is our next step. So it's a newer asset for us. We've only had it for about a year. We applied for drilling licenses about 8 months ago, and we expect to receive those soon. But our 5,000 hectare position in the midst of giants. It's a great place to be. Probably the best place in the world famous Lithium Triangle. It's the highest grades, the lowest impurities, fantastic flow rates. We're surrounded by giants. As I've said, there's been a ton of activity in this area. So lots of acquisitions, close to $1 billion acquisitions of assets that are very similar to our Tolijar asset, very comparable. And I think we can talk about that later. But at the end of the day, we're in the midst of giants. Livent has been producing for 25 years from the exact same salar.
That's a direct neighbor of you, right?
Absolutely. We share a border. Our property shares a border with Livent. The nice thing about having them there is 25 years of production comes with some necessary infrastructure. So all of that has been built and it's right there. And all of this is within 10 kilometers of Tolijar. So the two assets are right next door to each other. We enjoy all the benefits of the infrastructure, and we're in the world's greatest sandbox, if you want to call it that, the Lithium Triangle.
Yeah, you have also the South Korean giant POSCO is bordering you. I mean, that's a company which is maybe also somebody like the Chinese companies going into some takeover or M&A mode, I would call it.
Well, I mean, POSCO has made a massive investment into the area. They acquired the property about 4 years ago. They paid $280 million. They say that the property today is worth about $4 billion, and I believe them. It's a great asset. It's a fantastic position. And like I say, they've had some fantastic drilling results, some of the results never seen before in terms of lithium grades. So it's the hotbed of activity, whether it's Rio Tinto that's purchasing, Ganfeng, the world's largest lithium producer from China that's purchasing, POSCO that's purchasing. there are multiple acquisitions in the area. So we're really happy to be where we are.
Yeah, really a lot going on. So let's move a little bit more into detail into the Tolijar project. We see already your resource here. You said already over 3 million tons of LCE. What does that mean now finally into lithium? Because the lithium market is like 350,000 tons a year so far. And what does it mean for you? So how much lithium do you think you have already in that? And what would that mean if we do a production scenario, let's say with 20,000 tons a year?
Yeah, I think the one thing to understand with our resource estimate is that it's just out, it's hot off the press, so to speak, but it's also preliminary in the sense that we've only drilled and only explored about 30% of the salar, 9,000 hectares out of the 28,000 that we have. So it's early days. We've also only drilled to about 400 meters, and we can drill a lot deeper if we want to. But at the end of the day, Tolijar is a fantastic asset. We have a great property there, and there's so much more to do. In terms of increasing the resource, 3 million tons that we have, we've only drilled to, like I say, to 400 meters, so we can drill deeper. The seismic that we've shot shows that we have basement deeper than 500 meters. The seismic didn't see the basement, so we have the ability to drill even deeper than 500, even though today we've only gone to 400. We also have the ability to drill what I call horizontally, meaning we've only drilled this 30%, we can drill 100%. So there's still more resource to be added that way. And then the third point I think that's important is to where we've drilled, 400 meters, if we drill deeper, or as we drill deeper, we see increasing concentrations or increasing, call it lithium concentration. So the deeper you go, the better the lithium content is. And so all of these are things that we plan to update in our next resource estimate, which we expect to be out, call it Q1 of 23. The 15 wells that we had drilled in Tolijar, of those, not all of them were included in the report. So we didn't have the results back yet when we released it. So we will have all of those results. We'll do additional drilling, whether that's horizontally or deeper, and we'll have those results as well. So I expect to see a really nice update to the resource estimate.
Okay, fantastic. So we see here in situ lithium, 398,000 tons in the indicated. Yeah, I think this is like an orientation for a production, right? So with 20,000 tons, if I'm correct, you can produce 20 years.
Exactly. And that's just our first cut at only some of the salar. So there's much more to go. And that's only Tolijar. We have the other asset, Hombre Muerto.
Which I just brought up here. And what makes Hombre Muerto so special to you?
Well, your viewers must have heard of Ombre Muerto. It's the world's most famous salar. It's the best salar to produce from. It's comparable to the Atacama in Chile, which is also a famous salar, but operating and especially growing or starting a company in Chile is quite difficult these days. So Ombre Muerto has a very similar profile in that it's very, very high grades. Typically 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams per liter. It's very common, very, very low impurities. So Ombre Muerto was built, if you will, for high quality lithium production. It already has a lot of the work done for you in that it has very high grades and very low impurities. Again, Hombre Muerto is at 4,400 meters above sea level, lots of evaporation. We see Livent, who has been producing there. They use a combination of evaporation ponds and a DLE, or direct lithium extraction technology, sort of a combo. And they've been doing that for over 2 decades. So it's a great way to produce. It's a great asset to have. We're very, very lucky to have a toehold in. And in fact, we expect to more than double our land position in Ombre Muerto in the coming weeks.
Fantastic. Wow. So there's a lot going on, I would say. Let's have shortly a look onto the market. I mean, we all know we are in Switzerland here, and sometimes I have the feeling like Geneva and Zurich is one of the main cities for Tesla and also for for e-mobility. So what does it look by now from your perspective for the lithium market? Supply, demand, where do you see the stuff?
Well, I think a lot of people will remember 2017 when there was the original hype, the lithium hype, and prices skyrocketed up to about $25,000 a ton. That was the price of lithium that we saw. In 2018, that hype wore off. In 2017, only 1.3% of the vehicles that were sold worldwide were electric vehicles, whether hybrid or fully electric. And so people weren't sure if this guy, Elon Musk, really was going to fulfill his promises. And so in 2018, some of that hype wore off, and we experienced a couple of years of tough times for the lithium industry. There was no real investment. It was a difficult time, for sure. But in 2019, late 2020, certainly in 2021, we've seen that the hype was actually real. And now that market is very real. We know that over 8% of the vehicles sold in 2021 were electric vehicles. We know in 22 that's even increasing more. And so when you have that kind of penetration, the world has taken notice, and that penetration is here to stay. It's absolutely real. It's not going away. We see if we were to hit worldwide, say 14% penetration, and in last year we were at about 8%. At 14% penetration, that requires 1 million tons of lithium per year. And today we're only producing 350,000 or so. So there is a huge gap, a production
3 times
gap.
more we need.
We need it. And we used to think we needed it in maybe 2030. Those forecasts have now been bumped up to 2025. But here we are in 2022, and we're almost at 14%. We're getting very, very close to that. The capacity is nowhere near where it needs to be. So we're a long ways off from meeting capacity. That supply-demand imbalance is going to be around for quite some time. It takes quite a while to get a lithium mine on production. And at 1 million tons per year, that means we need 26 new mines, each producing 25,000 tons per year. It's almost impossible to imagine that we're going to be able to get anywhere near that.
Yeah, especially we need it in 3 years.
We need it in less than 3 years.
That's a real problem. We see here one of your beautiful drill rigs, I would call it, really like in the desert, in the salt desert, I would call. As far as I know with lithium companies, what is going on with a pilot plant? I mean, you need to have a proof of concept, you need to do, let's say, chemistry, you need to know about, as you said already, you have almost no impurities. Yeah, so what is the status there? And I assume you are financed for that?
Correct. With 40 million in the bank today, we're a junior company that doesn't need to raise any money for probably 2 years at least. We've already started construction of a pilot plant. That pilot plant we expect to be operational in the first quarter of 23. And that pilot plant, what it will do is it will allow us to take our technology, which we have developed in-house with world-renowned experts who have come into our company from Beyond Lithium. That's the name of their company. They understand lithium, the chemistry. They're worldwide experts, quite famous people, in fact. So we're very lucky that from day one we said we want to work with you. We want to co-develop this project and developed a process that we can actually take right through to the production of a battery-grade or high-grade lithium compound and lithium metal. So we're very happy to we've made significant progress on the bench test. Yeah. We have concentrated lithium to over 12,000 milligrams per liter.
Wow.
We have produced battery-grade lithium hydroxide. We have produced battery-grade lithium carbonate. We are well on our way. So the pilot plant is simply taking what we've already done and putting it to scale. Our plan right now, and we're currently constructing the plant in Salta. We'll construct it in a warehouse that we own there, make sure that everything works and everything is calibrated, no leaks, no electrical problems, because if we have any early issues, we can get those fixed given that Salta is the center of the universe for lithium, and that's where all of the talent is, the equipment is there, the people are there. Once we've worked out the bugs, we'll disassemble it and ship it in modules up to the Salar. We'll reassemble it at altitude, at temperature, and we'll run it all year round and make sure that we've got a proof of concept at the very least. In fact, we'll be producing lithium at that point. Fantastic. Small quantities, but it'll prove that our technology works.
Yeah. Super. Brad, thank you very much. All the best with that, and we look forward to hear more from you. And I have a very good feeling that your company will really make its way.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brad Nichol, the CEO of Alpha Lithium. you heard it, the company is really hot off the top here, really great, doing extremely well. The pilot plant is in the test and construction phase. But what is even more important also, the company has over $40 million still in the bank. So that's way enough to really do a new resource estimate, and let's call it an additional resource estimate, do the pilot plant, and really be ready for the big takeoff. And I wouldn't be astonished if there will be some M&A activities before they even go into the development phase. So check it out. My name is Jochen Steiger from Commodity TV in partnership with Dukas Copy TV. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Geneva.